Hi, welcome to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. This is going to be my opinion after I've just watched the last episode of Ahsoka, episode 8. And I say the last episode of Ahsoka because I don't know what they're doing with this show. Um, I would be in favor of a seasons 2, but they have been talking about because they don't want to do another season of The Mandalorian, or they're only going to do one more, and they're talking about sort of tying them together in some movies instead of following maybe you know the characters that we know in the movies. They want to do a new series based around Thrawn. So yeah, I don't know where they're going with this. This episode, though, in general, I enjoyed it. It was a good episode. Um, Lots of lightsaber combat in it to keep it interesting. TIE fighters, that's great. Lots of stormtroopers. So all good stuff. Same complaints though I have had with the other episodes is it's too dependent on Rebels. Having watched Rebels, the lightsaber combat is spotty. I don't blame the actors. I think is they just did not get the same amount of training that people like Hayden Christensen did. For the movies, and it's kind of blatantly obvious that they have to slow stuff down. But I still like the lightsaber combat. Show looks good. It basically sort of ties up the season and leaves lots of questions. So it would be a shame if they didn't do something to tie up some of this stuff, just leaving all this stuff hanging. Uh, because I overall I enjoyed the show. Again, just things I pointed out. The lightsaber combat's not the greatest. Some of the writing is dumb, and it's too dependent on having watched Rebels or Clone Wars. I've watched some of the show, and I've looked at a lot of little YouTube clips and stuff to try to catch up. But I don't know some of the people who you're supposed to know, and I don't know who they are. Okay, so this episode we start off with Morgan, the lady that they rescued, the bad Jedi's rescued on the first episode. She's some kind of one of these sisters that are witches of some sort. They give her a promotion, I guess, to another type of witch, and so you see that at the start, and they give her a sword, so you know that she's going to have some combat with Ahsoka at some point. Anyways, they say, or Thrawn says they're pretty much ready to go. Why they just don't leave at that point is beyond me. They send two TIE fighters to go at least delay Ahsoka and the people so the TIE fighters locate Ahsoka's ship and start shooting at it. And because in this series, apparently um, they don't do much damage to anything that they shoot at. But the damage occurs when Sabine flies the ship into the two TIE fighters to knock them down, and that puts the ship down. So the only way they disable the ship is when Sabine does it for them. Anyways, Ezra is finally builds his own lightsaber, which gets rid of that plot hole from the last episode where he didn't want to take his old one from Sabine. They do talk about Caleb again from Rebels, so you'll have no idea if you didn't see Rebels who they're talking about. But he was Ezra's master. Every Padawan's got a master, so the robot that knows all the baby Jedi or all the Jedi's through the years knows Caleb as well. And so they can't use the ship to catch up to Thrawn, so they jump on the giant rats and off they go. And Thrawn sees them coming. Don't know how, but he does through some kind of sensor. So he starts shooting at them, and they dodge in between the blasters. Doesn't make a lot of sense how they can do that. A little iffy on the CGI during that point, but they make it into the tower that's sticking up into the Star Destroyer. So at that point, they send some of the stormtroopers down to deal with them. So there's a good battle there. Three characters: Sabine using combination of her lightsaber and her guns, Ezra with his new lightsaber, and Ahsoka, and so they basically take care of all the stormtroopers. And something that I've heard people speculating on actually occurs that the witches resurrect the stormtroopers. So you got zombie stormtroopers at that point. So they have to sort of flee and kill them again. So that's kind of, I don't know, I thought that was kind of dumb myself. But anyways, so they're climbing the tower and fending off the stormtroopers. And at some point, Thrawn realizes that they're still coming. So he sends Morgan down, and she realizes, I guess, that she's going to have to sacrifice herself because everybody else, the three sisters and Thrawn and everybody gets onto the ship, and it attaches itself to the ring ship. So they're about to leave. So then Morgan and Ahsoka have a fairly good, well, lightsaber from Ahsoka's part and kind of witch sword from Morgan's point, and um, Sabine and Ezra fight off the zombie stormtroopers. And there is a point where one of their masks is kind of cracked, and you can see that it's sort of a skull underneath. So it is some kind of, I don't know what happened, that all the stormtroopers must have died at some point and they got resurrected by the witches. But I don't necessarily understand that. But again, if you watch Rebels, you might actually. So finally, Sabine shows that she does have some force abilities. Up until this point, she's wielded a lightsaber, but she's never showed any ability. But here she actually calls her lightsaber to her hand. And then at one point, when they've got rid of all the zombies, they're trying to jump up into the Star Destroyer, which is leaving, and Ezra can't make it all the way, but Sabine says she'll push him, so he jumps and she pushes him up into the ship. So she does finally demonstrate that she does have some force abilities, although it kind of was hinted before. Anyways, Ahsoka kills off as Morgan, as she should. Morgan was kind of not a great character for the show, but anyways, and they can't get up to the Star Destroyer, so it kind of is climbing away. They're running and jump over the edge of a platform, and of course you think they could die, but no. They land on the ship. The robot and the turtle people have fixed the ship. So they get in, and Thrawn turns the guns of the Star Destroyer on the platform and wipes out all the platform and all the zombie troopers that are down there. And they try to catch the ship, but it takes off, leaving uh, Ahsoka and Sabine and the robot behind. So that is kind of the end of the show, except for the cleanup. So the cleanup bits are you see um, Thrawn make it back to the normal galaxy, and they go to the Witch's planet. You see Ezra reunite with Chopper the robot and the green-haired general or headed general. You see the baby bad Jedi. I don't know. She just shows up at the edge of the camp with all the uh, robbers or whatever, and holds her lightsaber above. And I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But anyways, and you see Balin going off towards sort of a flashing light in the distance, and a lot of staring into the sky. At that point, you see some statues, and I think, again, you need to watch Rebels, but I've watched enough YouTube that I kind of think it's there was three Force beings, a father, a son, and a daughter, and the daughter was good and good Force, and the son was the bad Force, and the father kept them from killing each other, I guess. So that's kind of what the statues look like, and I think Balin, the big baddie Jedi, was kind of talking about he was sensing something, so maybe that's what it is. So that's the end for his arc at the end of the season. Sadly, Ray passed away, the actor who plays Balin, so they'll have to recast him if they go forward. but that's kind of it. Thrawn makes it back. Ezra makes it back. Ahsoka and Sabine don't make it back. The baby bad Jedi doesn't, and Rey, again, all of these things need another series or something to take them forward because um, otherwise that would be a disappointment if they never finish this off. The show. I like the show enough that I would see a second season of it. I probably would see a movie of it. Um, but yeah, it is a lot of cliffhangers or a lot of unanswered questions in this final episode. So if you're looking for closure, you're not going to get it. It takes it to a certain point, ties up some loose ends, but leaves just as many questions. Like what's going to happen with Thrawn, what's going to happen to Ahsoka and Sabine. Yeah, so that's it. That's what I thought about it. In general, it's a good show, not perfect. Enough action in it, although the lightsaber stuff is again suffers, I think, mainly because the actors didn't get enough training. Ties up a lot of loose ends and such. We do see Sabine show Force abilities, and Ezra gets back. But there's all kinds of, what happens next in this show. So it's definitely worth seeing. Um, I would. It'd be sad if this didn't get a conclusion, though, because it's kind of like you see a show that you like and they cancel it after one season, so everything's left up in the air. But that's it. That's my opinion of this episode.